Good morning. Wasn't that exciting to see those two folks baptized? And we've got a person, I believe, who will be baptized in the next worship service. And so thank you for continuing to invite your neighbors, your family members, your friends. And by the way, if you're new, I'm Ricky. I'm honored to be the lead pastor here at Fort Caroline. And we are so thrilled that you are here with us to celebrate the risen Lord Jesus Christ. That's what we do every Sunday. And if we can be a part of your life and your spiritual journey, don't hesitate to let us know that. You've picked a great day to be with us because we're starting a new series today, answering life's biggest questions. And you know, people have these questions. We have a lot of people who want to give you their opinions about these questions. Is God real? Does God love me if He is real? Is there life after death? Is there hope in the midst of my suffering? And you can read people's opinions or hear people's opinions on social media or on YouTube, and people write books and articles answering these questions. And often the advice or the answers they give are good and they're helpful. At other times, they're just flat out wrong or they're confusing. But you know, I think the greatest person we can ever go to ask these kinds of questions and to get the answers we need for our soul is the Lord Jesus Christ Himself. You see, even if you're not yet a follower of Jesus, what you know about Jesus tells you that we can trust what Jesus says to us about God. In His earthly life, even Jesus' enemies had to admit that they could not find fault in Him. Even His enemies had to admit, this man never lies. Even His enemies had to admit, there's something different about this man when he teaches. He teaches about God with an authority like we have never heard before. And so we believe one of the best things we can do is to make sure that in the midst of all the voices that we are listening to as we seek the answers to these questions and others, is to make sure first and foremost we're listening to the voice of Jesus. And so we're going to talk this month about these questions and what Jesus has to say to us. And here's one of the reasons I tell you about trusting Jesus, not only because of His life and His character, but also the fact that Jesus predicted His own death and resurrection and pulled it off. And if He could do that, I'm just going to trust anything else He says. Do you remember on 3 different occasions He did that with His disciples? Let me give you one example. It's in the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew chapter 20, verses 18 and 19. Jesus is with His disciples going to Jerusalem for the very last time. And He knows that He is on the road to destiny, that He's going to go there and die for the sin of the world. So He says in Matthew 20, verse 18, "See, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and scribes, and they will condemn Him to death and deliver Him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified. And He will be raised on the 3rd day." 3 times, Jesus explicitly told His disciples, I'm going to be betrayed into the hands of sinful men. I'm going to suffer. I'm going to die. But on the 3rd day, I'm going to rise again. And it went over their heads. They never fully grasped what He was